Hey guys, welcome back to a new video on the channel. In this video we're going to go over different types of lenses, in particular zoom lenses versus fixed lenses, so if you're interested in that, stick around. Hey guys, welcome back to a new video on the channel. My name is Jack, I'm a freelance videographer, photographer and videographer. Fixed lenses versus zoom lenses and what the difference is. So jumping straight into this, what the hell are they? This is a zoom lens. Now where are my lens? There they are. And this is a fixed lens. Now they probably look a little bit similar, but if you look here you can't see it, but this one zooms and this one doesn't. The only little spinny ring is the focus ring. So the main two different types of this is that this one has a fixed focal length and this one is a zoom lens. It can change the focal length from, like, this one is from 24 to 10, so quite a wide, really wide lens. So let's start off with zoom lenses since that's the most basic. So zoom lenses, what the hell is a zoom lens? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a lens that zooms. So the main difference is the focal length. The focal length can vary for a zoom lens. You can get different types. You've got like 55 to 200, you've got 18 to 55, which is the standard. You got ones like this which are pretty wide, really wide. This is like an extreme wide, yeah, 10. You got 24 to 10. You can get any type of lenses, but it's all about the quality of the glass with the zoom lenses. So more cheaper lenses tend to have an aperture of around about 3 to 4. Now what an aperture is, that's the f-stop, how big or how open your f-stop's going to be. So if you see any of those images where it's like proper crisp, shell depth of field, like the subject is just in focus but the background's blurred out and it looks proper professional, that is a 1.8, maybe a little bit lower than that, maybe 2 aperture, and those come on fixed lenses. So the main difference is on a zoom and fixed lens is the ability to zoom and mainly the aperture. So a zoom lens, where would you actually use a zoom lens? Well, for videography, I would say if you're doing kind of like a vlog kind of thing. So if you're getting right up and close and personal to someone, or maybe you're doing a short film or a documentary, whatever it is, if you need to get really close to your subjects, this would be the lens to go with, a zoom lens, because then you're not fixed, so you're not having to move backwards. You can get proper close and then you can zoom and adjust your how much zoom, I guess, that the audience is seeing. So the benefit of a zoom lens is that you have flexibility, and you would use it for photography, I guess. If you're not doing studio, if you're doing stuff that like street photography or wildlife photography, where the variables aren't controllable, I would use a zoom lens there. Maybe if you're doing wildlife photography, I would use probably about 55 to 200, depending on what subject you're doing. But I'll cover that in another video. What type of lenses you should use and where to use them. So zoom lens. The more cheaper lenses, again, have an f-stop about maybe 3, maybe 4. Sometimes when you zoom in it goes down to a 3, and when you zoom out it goes up to a 4, just because of the type of lens it is and the quality of the glass. But the more expensive, like we're talking a couple of grand here, the more expensive lenses are upwards of a couple grand, but they combine the two. What they do, if they have the really crisp f-stop of a fixed lens like a 1.8 and combines it with the flexibility of a zoom lens in one. That's why it's so expensive, because the quality of the glass allows it to be zoomed but also retain that quality, so you can go down to a 1.8 aperture. But the one thing you've got to make sure is when you're using, actually no, I'll cover that when I'm doing these. So zoom lenses, really versatile, good for starters. Don't get rid of your kit lens, your 18 to 55, because I've done a couple of shoots on that and it saved my life a couple of times when I don't have this lens on me. So zoom lenses, really versatile, good for beginners. But if you're a little bit more advanced, you can use a fixed lens, also known as a prime lens. Now what a fixed lens is opposite of the zoom lens. So what this lens is that it sacrifices the ability to zoom in and out depending on what focal length it is, and speaking of the focal length, it's fixed, so you can get like 35, like the one I'm filming on, 28, 50, 200, and it stays at that focal length. You cannot change the millimeter on the lens. If you want to change the millimeter on the lens, you can't zoom out. You're going to have to completely swap out the lens. So if I wanted to change my lens on that camera, I couldn't just reach over and turn it. I would have to stop the recording, take off the lens, re-equip this one, the 55, and then keep recording like that. But it's quite a hassle. So where would you use it? You would use this like a nifty 50, depending on what kind of lens you're using. But if you're doing photography especially, I would use quite a lot of fixed lenses for photography, especially if you're doing weddings, if you're doing studio, that's the main part, if you're doing a couple of others. But if you're doing, again, wildlife photography, it might not be, you might want to get a proper nice crisp picture, but if you're sacrificing the ability to capture quite a lot of pictures for quality, so I would go with a zoom lens if you're doing wildlife photography or anything of that nature. But if it's in the more I can't get my words out. If it's in more of a controlled environment, I would use a fixed lens or prime lens. And in terms of videography, I would use a fixed lens if it's if you've got a shot list for it. You know, if it's not just quickly out of the bat, if you can control the variables. If you're filming inside, especially. Like yeah, if you're filming inside, if you can control the lighting, if you can control where your actors are going to move, if you know where you're going to move. But if you're filming outside, you know, you might have a couple of cars. Like if you're a student like me and you can't block off a street or something, you don't have the money for it, or you just don't want to. If it's like not that type of film or video, whatever it is, I would use a zoom lens then, so you can zoom out, but it all depends on what kind of video it is and what environment it is. So there's pros and cons to both. The one thing to remember is a zoom lens sacrifices the quality, whereas the fixed lens sacrifices actually no, scrap that. The zoom lens sacrifices the quality for the ability to zoom and the flexibility. Yeah, remember it like that. The zoom lens sacrifices the zoom ability for flexibility, whereas the fixed lens sacrifices the flexibility for quality. So you can get both of these for relatively cheap, but the more expensive the lens, the better of quality it's going to be, the better quality of glass. But as a little tip, don't worry when you're starting out, and maybe if you're a little bit advanced, do not worry about the quality of your glass. You know, you might think that it's all about your camera body, all about the fancy accessories you can get, about the quality of your lens. It's really not about that. It's all about your lighting. There's a quote that I remember: a good cinematographer dates the body, marries the lenses, but goes on a honeymoon with the lighting. The king for videography and photography, if you can control it, is the lighting. Lighting is everything in these two games. You know, you're not going to get a good picture or video if your lighting is crap. You know, you can have the most expensive lens in the world, but if your lighting is absolute garbage, your image or video is going to be garbage. So, you know, don't spend all of your budget, no matter how big that is, into these, because these bad boys can only do so much. It's the lighting that really separates. I mean, just go look at my other videos. Look at the videos I've been putting out recently, and the videos that I did when oh god, they're so cringe. The videos that I did when I first started my YouTube channel, you know, massive difference. I cleaned up my background, I got my lights in, I don't use my main light, I've got my two main lights now, and it's all about the lighting, guys. So remember, zoom lens, so it's just a bit of an outro really. The zoom lens sacrifices the quality for flexibility, whereas the fixed lens or prime lens, you might see a couple of people mentioning a prime lens, they're talking about a fixed lens. A fixed lens sacrifices the flexibility for quality. So just keep that in mind when going shopping for a new lens. Those are the two big boys. So anyway guys, I hope you like that video. This is going to be a little bit of a mini series that I do, lenses, because I struggled with lenses when I first started in photography and videography. But I'm hoping that this helped your video, that this helped you guys. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you want to see any videos, comment below. But yeah, hope you like that guys, and I'll see you on the next video.